It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
Ladies and gentlemen, no, I'm joking. Your Honor, today is such a special day, and I'm so excited because it is my birthday. And if you know anything about me, I absolutely love my birthday. But I'm feeling in the moment to share this, right? Because you would be surprised that there was a time that I didn't celebrate my birthday. And I just figured, it's just another day. And you know how we get into that mode. Until I got married, and my husband at that time, he just made like a big fuss. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this guy? You know, so it just really changed my life. And so even though we're not married anymore, but I always will give him that respect, because before that, it was like a dark day. And I made a decision from that point forward, I would celebrate my birthday. And not only that, but I encourage others to do it as well. I'm like, listen, I don't care if you have to walk around the street and skip, and as long as you do something that makes you happy, that's what you need to do, basically. And so I wanted to just plug that in. And I had the opportunity to speak to, I think it was about 3 women at this point. And now I have another powerhouse, who I have the honor of sitting here sharing this moment in time to talk about all of the amazing things, all of the work that she is doing with women. And so I'm going to stop talking. Sherry, please share with us. Who are you? Where are you from? Where do you call home? Give us a little, come on, share the tea.
Well, I am Sherry Leopold, and I reside in Springfield, Illinois, in the United States. And I help women especially stand up and stand out as the unrepeatable miracle that they are, to hopelessly fall in love with yourself first. Ooh. So that you absolutely can live more, love more. I don't know, love the life you live the life you love. I mean, I say all varieties of that, but I believe that all good things come from loving yourself first. And so I'm very passionate about that. And helping women understand that it is their right and a choice to stand up and stand out. And I'd probably go so far as to say it's a responsibility that we have. Wow. Because not all of us do that easily. And the ones that have walked the path far enough, have a responsibility to the others who need the encouragement to see somebody who's doing it, to know they can do it too.
That is so amazing. You're already starting the show off. I mean, I'm like, tell me more. So I know, and I don't know if this is your official title, or, maybe it's because, a lot of times we, even make up titles, because why? We can do that. We can do that. I remember at one point when I created Sheba, the women's empowerment group that I have, I was, with a sister friend, and she's like, you know what? We're going to call you the den leader, right? And I'm like, what the hell is that? At first I'm like, why? And the reason why is because my apartment, if you know anything about New York, and I know, Sherry, you do, it's like, it's small apartments and high prices and so forth and so on. So my apartment is so intimate. When I tell you, I love it. She's like, it reminds me of a den. And I've had the opportunity to host so many events there, because I'm an avid believer of work with what you have, and if this is the space that we have, this is what we're going to do it. And she said, and you're a bona fide leader, so you're a den leader, So I was like, so I started doing it. I put on the business cards and everything, and I ran with it. But I see that you say your current business and profession is option creator. So please share with me, what does that even mean? What does it look like? I love it.
It's interesting is that's my corporation name. And when I went to make that, because I've been in network marketing for over 25 years, and I'm a top leader in Lavelle, and that is a primary source of income for me. It stands in alignment for everything I believe with empowering other people to earn an income, whatever way it looks for them, right? A little, a lot, doesn't matter what you want. I have a place for you. So that part speaks to me. But that was one of the ways that I get to give people options. I've been in, I have 12 books, 10 of which have been best-selling books. So I'm like, I have options with people to connect people to get their story heard. So when I was thinking about what is my corporate umbrella, it was literally option creators. Because do I need to help you develop the idea that you have the understanding that you have options to create other sources of income? Or is it options that you have options if you want to leave a job, if you want to leave a relationship? You always have options. And I believe that every single one of us is an option creator. But the first step in that is realizing you have options. Because people say, well, I didn't really have any choice, which is my biggest pet peeve statement in the world. Never say it around me, because I will bust you out in the flat second. Because I'm you do have an option. I always say you have a choice every minute of every day, and you'll have a million more the moment you make one. And see, the problem is people think, well, that sucks and that sucks. And I'm like, listen, they might all be poopy. I'll use that language. They might all be poopy. One is less poopy. Here's the thing, make it, because when you make it, you have another option, because choices create change. Change your choices and your choices change. That is one of my mantras. Choices create change. You change your choices and your choices change. If I leave a relationship, then my choices become different, right? Because I've left it. If I choose to move to a different town, now I have a different opportunity for different jobs, right? Here's the thing, inaction is an action, right? Not making a choice is a choice, and it is a choice you can make. But the problem with not making a choice is it leaves you with the same poopy choices that you had.
Right.
You just make one.
Right. You end up right back at square one. I was having a conversation with someone about this decision making and making choices. And one of the way in which the person described it to me, it just blew my mind. Sometimes you can learn things from the simple things, right? And what she said was that making a decision, is like building a muscle, and I think it's something that you alluded to, when you were sharing, when you were growing up, you didn't have the ability to make these options, and the decisions were always made for you. And she said that happens a lot among women. So it's like you have to be coached, so to speak, on, no, you have a right, you have the ability to make a decision, and understanding that with every decision, there will be an outcome. And fine, whether it's the outcome you want, whether it's the outcome you don't want, but then you can make another decision to change the outcome. It's almost like this continuity, this continuing, but the more you practice, I don't know if that's right, but you can help me, right? Mm-hmm. But the more you practice, you'll become better at doing it, as compared to kind of what you're saying, leaving your life in the hands of other people. That is error. That is
right, 100%. And I always use the simplistic example of, when you were 10 months old or 12 months old and you were cruising along the furniture, I have a granddaughter that's 11 months. She falls down. She never thinks to herself, oh man, that was too hard. I am never doing that again. We as adults go, oh my God, I tried that business and I just, that didn't work. And I'm just not good at that. What the heck? You fall down 5,000 times as an 11-month-old, but as a 41-year-old, you're like, nope, one and done. I'm out. Yeah, I just am not good at that. What is that?
Right.
You don't go to the gym once and go, whoo, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm great. You do it over and over and over and become good at it, right? Some of it's by failing. Some of it might be hurting yourself. Some of it might be going, woo, that didn't work.
Yeah.
We need to try something else. there's a lot of lanes, if you will, on that highway. But the point is, if you never get on the highway, you'll never go anywhere. And that's a choice too, right? It's a choice. That inaction is a choice, but I will tell you, it is a choice that will always lead to sadness, frustration, lack of happiness, lack of fulfillment. You'll never get out of any of those spaces by making that choice. Now, some people, I guess, would be okay with that. Me, not so much.
I would say me neither. Let me second that motion. It's not going to happen. So you mentioned the Wow Warrior Platform.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the name in itself has power. It has the ability
listen, the women I work with in the Wow Warrior Platform, that's why I say people look at those women and go, wow, that's what I want. Those are the women who are involved in this platform. They are the women that people look at and go, wow. And it's not because of how they look, it's the essence of who they are, that it comes before anything people see, right? It's the whole energy around that person, that it is the wow. And wow stands for woman of worth. And that goes back to what I said. This is the woman who knows in her core, she is so worthy of all good things, that she is that unrepeatable miracle. She is unique and not duplicated anywhere on this planet. She absolutely within her being knows that. And she knows that she is here to leave a legacy. She's intentionally writing her own history that will be spoken about her, and taking each ordered step to leave it the way she believes it should be written. It's not being written for her. Other people aren't writing about her. She's raising her hand and saying, I'm a woman of worth. Wow. Do you know so-and-so? Do you know Sheba? Wow. You need to know her. Like that is who you're going to run into on the Wow
Thank
platform.
you for plugging me in that, because I need to, hello.
Yes.
Plug that in, but
exactly what I thought when I saw the latest photos of you. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Well, thank you. And legacy is one of my favorite words. I kid you not. I'm just like, listen, it's hard to even be around and listen, I don't mean to sound, standoffish, but it's hard for me to be around a woman where that is not at the forefront of her mind. I'm telling you, it's hard for me to be in those spaces because it's critical. It's so important. Like you mentioned, is this intentionality. That's really what you're saying. That's what I keep hearing. Like you have to be intentional about your day, about every moment of your day, every relationship, every connection. I also believe in the influence of a mentor. And my mentor, she told me this. I'm laughing because, as you can imagine, I'm like a people person, and which is good. And she's like, Sheba, sweetie, Jordan. And I'm like, what? She said, you have to focus on your return of investment, right? She's like, you have to start focusing in, honing in on that. And if there's a place, a space, a relationship, anything that is not worthy, right, so to speak, you don't need to be there. Simple, just as simple as that. And that literally changed my life, because before I'm like, yes, here. But, kind of cutting that dead weight, if I can say, that those things that's not pushing me towards this legacy has added so much value, to my life. So speaking about legacy, share a little bit about that. What does that look like for you or to you?
It's interesting because something that I've learned, and actually it's from my mother passing away just a couple months ago, and then my daughter-in-law's mother just unexpectedly passing away, and she was only 63. I'm 57. I'm thinking, dang, that doesn't seem very far away. So I I'm thinking if I put a time on myself and that was when I was going to go, I'd be like,
what would you do?
What would I do in those, few years, those 6 years or whatever? And I thought, you know what? I really took a moment to sort of do some introspection. And I thought, I am here to create the space for women to, as I say, go farther, faster. Like my legacy is literally woven into yours. If I help you win, then I win, right?
Oh,
And you're getting all my mantras today.
I'm getting chills. I'm really like chills.
One of my mantra is that I live by the trifecta. And by the trifecta, I mean, it's not a win-win scenario. This people always say, we got to do it a win-win. I think that's BS. It's a trifecta. It's a win-win-win. Because if I help you win, I am winning. If I win and you win, whoever we touch together wins. Who we serve wins. That's the ripple. That's not just the plop in the rock and making a splash.
Right.
That's me winning or me helping you. That's what the Wow Warrior platform is when I help people see what you're doing and the magic that is you, I get to win because I'm helping you win, right? But everybody you touch and empower is winning too.
That's right.
It's the trifecta.
That's right. I love it. Oh my goodness. You got me feeling like a freaking super warrior here.
That's right. And that's what it is. And here's the thing. I do want to kind of touch back to something you said, because one of the things I call it my Wow Warrior tribe, because there's a difference. And I can't think of her name, and I need to go to my friend and ask, because it's a personal friend of hers that I saw speaking. She said the difference when she was speaking, she was talking about the difference between a soldier learns to fight, right? But a warrior is born to fight. So a woman of worth warrior is born. That's what I'm talking about, that core of let's go, flame shooting from behind, whatever you're doing. That's why it's the Wow Warrior tribe, Sheba, because we are together empowering one another. I'm going to interview you. You're going to interview me. We're going to talk about whatever book you're doing. I'm doing my platform, this, that. We're going to spread so much good that it doesn't matter how much bad is out there. Ain't nobody going to see it.
That's right. Because my husband, we were talking the other night, and he said, what you focus on is what you focus on, and what you see is what you begin to see. So if you constantly seeing bad, you'll begin to see that. But it's about changing this trajectory, changing this perspective. And we win. We win, you win, we all win. So I love that.
And that's why I have a tribe. So I'm seeing in 2022 was my first Wow Warrior foray. I started it this year. It came as I always say things come sometimes in a weird package, right? I had a very bad experience in January and February with something I was doing. Somebody took something from me in terms of a similar type platform. And by took it, I mean, they just stole it, kind of rearranged the words and took it. And I was like, after my ego hurt feelings, if I was able to push those aside, I was like, wait a minute. What am I doing? And I talked to a close friend of mine, and he said, why don't you do something for Women's History Month? So that's how we started with the Wow Warriors, which was Woman of Worth. And I was like, this is a perfect entry. So I interviewed a woman every day except for 2 days, because I started so close at the start of March, I didn't quite get all the days filled. And then what I did was I created an ebook. So they all have an ebook. So there's another separate, thing for them to be seen in a different medium other than the video, right? And then we did a summit, and they got to speak. So that was the one part. Now it's a 3-pronged platform, and the second one is just coming into fruition. And it's the Wow Warrior magazine, the Woman of Worth magazine. And that is actually going to be, the first issue will be out March 1st. March, so it'll be the third month of the first quarter. It's going to be a quarterly magazine just for the first year. Okay. Fingers crossed, because I'd like it to be bi-monthly, but I'm giving myself the grace to start correctly and not overwhelm myself, even though everybody I get to talk to is ridiculously amazing. So it'll be great for me to meet all kinds of incredible women. But so I will have contributors who will contribute articles to that on a topic of whatever they want to write on. You can write on empowerment or whatever you want to write on. There will be actually clickable links in there so people can connect with you, to your socials, to your freebies, to whatever. So I will also be doing interviews. Some of them will be me interviewing somebody in a print form. I'll have advertising. There's a lot of different things that are going on in the space of the magazine. But prior to that, which should start in January, I'm also launching the Wow Warrior television channel, which will actually be on the network Everyday Woman TV. And so I'm having my own channel. So I will have people who can have their own show on the Wow Warrior network, essentially, channel. And I will also be having the Wow Warrior television show. I will be interviewing powerhouse legacy building women.
Wow.
Raise your hand. I'm up.
You see what I mean? Don't mind me. I feel like a freaking warrior here, I swear. Oh my goodness. This is amazing. This, when I, to be honest with you, just to be transparent, when I first saw your Facebook, I just glanced, I didn't really go into much detail in the beginning. And I'm just like, I need to know her. No, I swear, just by your picture, I was like, I need to know her. I don't know. I just feel this drawing a connection. So I'm so grateful that we are having this moment of sharing all of the amazing, work that you're doing, the empowerment, the coaching, the mentoring. There's a lot of just the encouraging. A lot of people need that, like I was having an interview with someone else and I was sharing that a lot of times women in particular, it's hard for them to show up as themselves, right? Mm-hmm. And to be comfortable in that space because they've heard so many times, oh, you're prideful and you think you're better. I mean, well, let me not speak for anybody else. I've heard this, and I'm like, nope, not that. Nope, it's not that either. It's just that
you want another one of my Sherryisms? Somebody told me I needed to write a book with just a Sherryism.
Come on.
I'm like, that little person that sits on your shoulder, sometimes she's your great auntie, or sometimes she's your grandmother, say, oh, honey, you shouldn't be bragging. Like, listen, if it's true, it's not bragging.
That's right.
That's what I say. Listen, if me talking about my accomplishments and my confidence makes you uncomfortable, pick the mirror up and look in it and saying, why am I uncomfortable with someone else's success? It is not about my success. What I do, if what I do makes you uncomfortable, you need to look at you, not look at me. Like, I don't need to dim my light to make sure, because you don't have the correct shades. You can either get the correct shades or get the shade out. I mean, like, whatever.
I love it. And that's
my reality.
Drop the mic moment. So, Miss Sherry, please share. What are your secrets? I mean, you shared a lot from the TV, the television show, the magazine, the summit. There's so many components. So, what is your secret? How do you do what you do? How do you do what you do?
You know what? I think it comes from having a servant heart. It also comes from having the correct mentors to pull out the genius that is in you. We all have it, right? And one of the people I took a tremendous number of courses with, she always says you can't see the label on your own jar. Like, when you're in the jar, you can't see the labels. You can't see, right? So sometimes we can't see our own greatness because we are in it, right? So, you have to be able to accept, number one, what are people saying about you? Like, I've done a webinar that's like, who am I? And in that 3-part webinar, we do a thing where you talk to yourself about who you are, how you show up, what your gifts and talents are. The second part is going into your network. I like to think of mine as my high vibe tribe. Thank you.
That's right.
And so asking them to describe you and what qualities make you you. And in that process, I ask a question that says, what do you want me to know about myself that you don't think I know? That was a hugely illuminating question for the people in the course, because they were like, wow, one of them, it really sticks in my mind. Her sister, what her sister said about her, she's like, I just need you to understand how much I admire your, organization, how just on top of everything you are just an incredible woman. And I just don't think you quite understand that. And she was speechless. And I think it's, that especially hearing it from her sister, who was, I think she's an older sister. And so she was just like that sort of inverse of that relationship. Like, she never thought her sister would say something about her like that. I said, this is part of the exercise. Sometimes you'll hear things and you might not like what you hear, but you have to sit with that, right? And go, well, why would they perceive that? Is that them, or is that really on me? Let's just look at it. Once again, doesn't have to be good or bad. That's what I always say, focus goes where energy flows, or energy flows where focus goes, right? Whichever way you want to say it, doesn't matter. And that's the same thing. Like, if I focus on somebody said something bad about me, like, you'd make a choice. Once again, goes back to choices. Hashtag make good choices. My favorite hashtag. And the thing is, you just have to decide, do I want to be like overtly like emotional and go, oh, why'd they say that? Or do I want to say, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I wonder where that came from, or what does that mean? Have a conversation with it. Open it up. Take the can opener, take the lid off, and have a conversation about it. Because there's a reason that they thought that. There's a reason that they say it. And then the interesting thing is, the third part is really the inward introspection of taking what others have shared with you, how they see you, and looking at seeing as if how you feel you show up in the world is actually how you're showing up to people outside. It's not always the same thing.
Most times it's not the same thing.
Yeah, we have this tendency, and it is, I'm a licensed brain trainer, Dr. Amen brain trainer as well. So it is actually brain science. We have the tendency to always focus on the lack. That's part of the subconscious, fight or flight. Like, we have to look at, well, you didn't do very well at this. You didn't do very well in English, so you can't write a story in a book. Crap. Right. You can talk, you can write, So like, those are just the lies we tell ourselves, right? To protect ourselves. Because if I don't do it, then I don't do it wrong. Like, correct? Wow. Those kinds of things we have to get down to the root of and decide. And it all comes back to choices, right? Choices create change. I can choose not to write because I might look like a failure, or people might think something about me, right. Or I can choose to express myself and know that because I am an unrepeatable miracle, I cannot do it wrong. I can only do it my way.
I love that. I'm going to put that on social media. I can only do it my way. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
So you shared so much. So I want to just wrap it. I want to put it in a nice, I'm not going to say a red bow. I like gold. So I'm going to put it in a nice gold bow with some black shimmer, something. Wrap it up for us. How could a person who's listening, and they want to take action, they want to connect, they want to join your tribe, right?
Absolutely.
How can they connect with you? Share with us how they connect.
Sure. I would love for them to go and join my public group on Facebook, which is facebook.com/I am a woman of worth. And that group is filled with people. It's all women, I will say that, who are really intentionally there to lift and inspire. So we're going to be having some live networking after the first of the year, so that some people speaking and pouring what their passions and what their expertise is in to the group, sharing openly what their expertise is. So there's going to be a lot of interaction and breakout rooms and things like that, where people can get to know other powerful women. Because as I stated before, and I keep hearing this same phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats. Listen, be the tide. It's fine that a rising tide lifts all boats, but I'm going to tell you, we all have the choice to be the tide.
Mm-hmm.
Be the tide everywhere you go. Be the one who lifts. You will never be in lack if you are always the one who lifts.
Oh my God. I'm just writing. Just give me a second.
You're good.
I love this. It's important for me to write that down. I feel as if I want to be a part of your tribe.
Well, you should. And I think I should interview on my Wow Warriors TV show. We will get that scheduled so people can watch it on everydaywomentv.com.
This was just powerful, amazing. I want to thank you for your time and all of the things that you're doing. Listen, one thing I do is respect time, because you could be doing other things just quite naturally, but you decided, no, let me, show up for Shiva's birthday, and you shared so much amazing information. You even uplifted me, and I'm pretty sure every woman or man or child, whomever who's listening. And so we want to thank you so much. I just feel in the moment just to say that I just pray that God continues to expand you, expand your work, expand your territory, the things that you want to do, that you will accomplish it, even in places and spaces that you don't even imagine. And so that is my desire and my prayer for you, for those.
Oh my gosh. You made my heart just like bloom. You don't know this, but I just looked to my right because my word for 2022 is expand.
Whoa!
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
Boom. I was like, I can't believe she just said that.
I know. When you look, I thought maybe the cat was jumping on the Christmas tree.
No, I just looked at that word. It always amazes me because it's happened before that somebody said that. And I'm like, wow, people think, oh, I just pick a word, but like I have it big on my vision board to my right. And I was like, oh, there it is again.
There it is again. There it is. So it's confirmation.
Yes.
So I'm so excited for all the work, and I'm excited to join.
I'm so grateful for the opportunity, Shiva. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So all the listeners out there, we have another amazing powerhouse woman who has sat and shared this moment with me for my birthday. I'm telling you, I already know that this year is going to be different. It's going to be big. It's going to be epic. And I'm so grateful that of
course it's going to be epic. You're going to be on my show.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right, let me calm down. So again, you're listening. Until the next Shiva Shares episode, I will connect with you soon. Peace.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.